What's up, skeletons? This is Viking Scribe here with Mitchie, my wife.
Hola.
And we're going to talk about Bugonia.
I've done a ton of research on this. You're killing our planet.
Alien fellas.
I'm not an alien.
You're lying to me.
What's the difference? You know this is crazy. You know this is wrong.
I know who you are. I know what you are.
I know you too, Teddy.
It's fine. It's cool.
If memory serves, you wanted to see this late last year in October,
Yes.
And for whatever reason, we just didn't get around to it. So, what kind of prompted you to want to go see this?
It left me curious. Like, not enough trailers do that. They usually give you too much information, or the little seeds they give you of information is not, honestly, just to my liking. So the seeds they gave me this time around was the actors, Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone. I'm a big fan of Jesse Plemons. You know, we saw him in that, God, I can never remember the name of this movie.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, thank you. Like we just talked about this.
Because we just did a take of this before, and she forgot about it for the second time.
Because it had Jesse Plemons, and I've seen him in so many other things. Like, what was the Leonardo DiCaprio movie he was in? He was one of the
Oh
people.
God, yes, he was in that Killers of the Flower Moon.
That was a good movie, but yeah, I can't. Anyway, but yeah, we saw him there,
Okay.
and you mentioned the Breaking Bad movie series that he was in.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw him, and then he was in Game Night.
I do hope you keep me in mind for any future game nights.
Well, you bet.
I've always enjoyed the camaraderie of good friends, competing in games of chance and skill.
He's actually in a Yorgos Lanthimos film, which is who this is directed by, called Kinds of Kindness, and that was if I'm not mistaken, that was when Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons kind of first probably met each other. And fun fact, Jesse Plemons is married to Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, look at that!
So we're going into this doubly blind because neither of us have seen any Yorgos Lanthimos films. I've heard of him. I've been on kind of the outskirts of people talking about his other films, like Poor Things, The Favorite, The Lobster. You wanted to see The Lobster.
I am curious about The Lobster. We just kind of came across that one a couple years back. But it's like I said earlier, it just wasn't the right types of seeds for me to be like, oh, let's see what this is about. But for Bugonia, I don't know what to expect.
No, yeah.
And it's about a world that we don't know much about, which is about, people that believe in motherships that are connected to us and people. So I'm like, okay, what does that look like?
Yeah, I was when I'm watching the trailer, like they were talking about like you mentioned the aliens, and I was like, this sounds like that conversation we had with that Uber driver that one time where he was talking about lizard people and like the positions of elite status, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna close the door on that.
I just stay quiet. You're the one talking to him. I was like,
I mean, you have to just keep them on a.
I just don't know what to say. So
you gotta keep them going, keep them busy with whatever they're doing.
Right.
That's the strategy. So, as I do with words that I'm not familiar with, based on whether that they're fictional or based in history, I actually looked up the word Bugonia, what it meant, and why choose that as a title. It was an old folk practice from the Mediterranean, a really, really old practice too.
Yeah, I think it was like 1517.
Something like that. Yeah, there was like a piece of art we saw on the Wikipedia, and it's the belief that bees were being birthed from the carcasses of cows, and there were like variations of that too.
Yeah, there was like a the hornet one, like a
Yeah.
European hornet coming from the carcass of horses.
Yeah, so, something to that effect, and like it was kind of like up in the air of like whether that was real or not. Like, you know.
I mean, I'm glad you have that habit of looking things up, because I was just like, well, Bugonia.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it bears some importance because in the trailer there was some imagery of bees.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, something has to be relating these two things together.
Right, they
Yeah.
know of the word, they purposely use the word, and I think you mentioned that the director, I'm blanking on his name again.
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Thank you. That he's from Greece.
Yes, born in Athens, so definitely calls back to his heritage.
Yeah.
So really interested to see what that angle is, because to my knowledge, I haven't really heard of it, like no. Yes, Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more you want to add, or?
Definitely curious to see what happens. So I'm excited that we're finally gonna see it.
Yes, this has been a long time coming. Yes.
Let's get to it.
We'll get there eventually. Yeah. So this is the end of part 1. Please join us for part 2, and we will see you guys in a little bit.
A few moments later.
Wow, that was an ending.
It was.
Welcome back to the second part of the Bugonia What's the Message video. There's certainly quite a lot to talk about in this movie. I guess my first question for you would be, did it meet your expectations?
It's hard to say because I went in so blind. So in some ways, I guess the short answer would be no.
Oh, it didn't. It didn't meet
No.
your expectations.
No, I didn't expect it to end the way it did.
Yeah, no, the ending is, we're not going to talk about the ending now, but it definitely will be discussed at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess for me, like it being the first Yorgos Lanthimos film, I kind of wanted it to go in a certain direction, and I thought that's what it was doing. But we were watching interviews earlier, and both Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, the two leads of this, both said that Yorgos Lanthimos was better off at directing comedies, or should think about it, because so much of this film was presented in a serious way but ended up being ridiculous in another, or highlighted some sort of farce or absurdity to the whole situation.
There may be a genre that you'd want to explore with Yorgos on the next project, something you guys haven't done before for both of you?
I mean, he's funny, and so I would
Very
like
funny.
to see him.
Like kind of a slapsticky broad.
Yeah, and a lot of his
color.
interests, like a lot of his references, are pretty broad.
But you understand, like, there's no world in which he doesn't see every single film he's made as a comedy.
So what did you think of the two leads, Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, in this?
They worked really well together at the end of the day. It was as I thought it would be in the beginning. Excellent work from both of them, where they're both completely engrossed in the character. It stayed true to what I expected, which is I didn't know what to expect for a lot of it. When I thought I knew what was going to happen next, the opposite would happen. So I did like them working together. I wouldn't mind seeing that again. I like them individually still. I have a preference for Jesse Plemons. I mean,
You were a big Jesse Plemons fan. I've never known that about you.
Still learning new things.
Yeah, still after all this time. But yeah, no, I would agree with you. Jesse Plemons is definitely chooses very roles that definitely suit his kind of off-brand kind of. You're not really quite sure which direction he can go in. We saw that in Breaking Bad. We saw that in Game Night. We saw that for a bunch of other stuff we've both seen him in.
Yeah.
And Emma Stone, I think the last thing I saw her in was Amazing Spider-Man 2, which didn't necessarily like sell me on this like whole revival of her career. But I think like, you know, she's got a better head on her shoulders than, and is trying different things in terms of actresses that I've seen. I think the only other person I can think of was like Jennifer Lawrence, and those two are extremely close to each other. Very, very good friends. At least from, you know, what I've heard of, you know, from interviews and whatnot. I wasn't in the room. So
News to me. Okay.
The other standout of the film was Aidan Delbus, the brother Don.
I think cousin.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, cousin Don. I like, he's such a new actor, and I don't know if he was able to like pull off that type of portrayal of like someone who's like not all there, or like kind of like has this like kind of childlike understanding of things. But it wasn't childlike. It was just more of like a more simplified version of kind of what the reality that Jesse Plemons was presenting to him. I mean, the film starts off, or not starts off, but like there's a scene about them being chemically castrated so that they don't fall into the wiles of or manipulation of this Andromedan thing that they've taken in.
Yeah, it's female.
Yeah, the scene where he was like, I want to maybe someday be with someone.
Yeah.
And Jesse Plemons was just saying like, well, you know, put all that aside for a greater purpose. Right then and there. I mean, that was something that I was like, I feel immediate sympathy for Don. And he was just played in, and not in a way that was like offensive or like comical, but like very realistic kind of understanding of that type of person in that type of situation.
Yes,
Yeah.
He was very supportive of his cousin, but at the same time, you could tell he had put some thought into what he would like his life to be one day, and what he saw himself in his future, especially with the very poignant time in the film when he was talking with Michelle one-on-one.
Yes,
so
yes.
that gave you even a deeper understanding of like where he saw himself in the world based on his current situation. So yeah, there was great acting done by him. I completely believed him, and his sense of supportive vulnerability that he like exuded with that character.
That's a good way to put it. It was supportive, vulnerable, only really with Jesse Plemons' character of Teddy, his cousin. You know, the strongest relationship they had was each other. So as we said in our part one, the term Bugonia, it comes from a Mediterranean practice or folk practice or belief that bees were manifested or birthed through cow carcasses, hornets from horses, and so on and so forth. And the film starts off with this narration from Jesse Plemons about bees and about how the world is so simple with bees and flowers kind of fitting together in a natural sort of way.
What a day, eh, Millhouse? The sun is out, birds are singing, bees are trying to have sex with them, as is my understanding.
And a lot of his conflict and discordance, I think, comes from everything else in his life not really making much sense in that way. You know, his mom is in a difficult situation. He's works at a packaging facility. I mean, he has friends, he has people that he interacts with at those jobs. But I think this is really his pursuit of this kind of goal and aspiration he has is, at least to me at least, spoke of making purpose out of purposelessness, kind of making your own purpose in a way. And how that relates to the Bugonia is that his understanding of the world is very flawed in a way. And so one of the things that Bugonia was kind of historically based out of, there was not everyone was in support of that idea of bees being, you know, coming from cow carcasses. So it's, in a way, different opinions and different as time has gone on, I mean, we're currently in a in a political situation where that is always the case. An event can happen and two different people have two different interpretations of the same thing. It's not so cut and dry. So what was kind of your experience with that word Bugonia while watching the film?
Yeah, I think it just had to do with trying to make sense of the disorder around them. Because just even that being a folk practice of like the belief that bees come from the death of something, the death of a cow, it's just a very interesting way of seeing that like a life kind of has this cycle to things. And therefore there's an order to it. But at the same time, as you move forward now and you try to apply that, or I'm hearing that, I'm like, obviously that doesn't compute for me of like, that's obviously not true. But
right.
it kind of shows that differentiation of how to see the world and to be able to understand what you're seeing so that it makes sense what to do next. What to do next, so this way you're not getting the short end of the stick. In the place where I'm coming from, I understand bees to be organized. I understand it to be like everyone is a team. Everyone can easily communicate with each other. It's all about the safety of the queen. But in the way it was kind of described in the beginning of the film, he talked about abandonment.
In taking Emma Stone, they took a queen from a different colony, in essence, that workplace, and how everything worked in unison with each other. Even her morning routine was very regimented and very structured and very, waking up and at the crack of dawn, doing X, Y, and Z for her health and mental wellness and whatnot. Like, it was there was a structure to it. And it almost was like they wanted that structure in the saving the world.
Yes.
Kind of plot, kind of.
He wanted to use
story.
that against them because he saw it as like these beings coming in and basically harming Earth by taking over. And if they're taking over, they're taking advantage of the people here. They're using them for their own means. And so him by taking Emma Stone, it was kind of like his way of like taking back control of the situation based on his own understanding and research. So it was interesting to kind of see that that belief play out in such a way and kind of like explained in a different manner versus it just being this guy that believes aliens are taking over. It's like, well, why? Yeah,
the motivation behind it was interesting, and I think like it's way more nuanced than just like aliens are taking over. We have to. They want to negotiate with the
Emperor,
with the leader, right? And it's just some complete nonsense thing he's come up with his research, and she calls it out too. She says like, you're in this echo chamber, it's this feedback loop, and he completely just disregards that. When I was listening to the interview, it was they were both trying to save the world in a different way because she works in biotech, so she wanted to save the world in her way. He wanted to save the world in his way, and the two were just butting heads throughout the film.
Exactly. It was very much, I'm not going to budge, and both of them had that perspective and mindset, like, I'm just not going to budge. Yeah. One
thing I wanted to talk to you about was the music that was used in Bugonia, because it was so prominent in No Other Choice that I kind of feel like we should talk about the music segment. The one song that stood out to me was Green Day's Basket Case, when she had those electric shock things on her head.
And the timing of when they used it, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, like
the dark comedy came out so hard.
I loved it because like I'm a very dark comedy kind of guy, and so like when I see like someone getting shock pads on them, and then that song comes on, I'm just like, well, this just tickles me but there were some other songs that were playing that she was even singing to Michelle. So do you want to talk a little bit about what that song is and the kind of the meaning behind it and how it applies?
I mean, I love Chappelle Roan, which is what she was singing. I think it was called Good Luck Babe. That's the song that was playing. And it was interesting that they put that song because I think it just correlates with what they had done before kidnapping her, which was chemically castrating themselves.
Yes, yeah.
And that song is basically about denying yourself that attraction to another woman. Like that's like you're avoiding this truth about yourself. But for them to also go to that length of like, well, I'm gonna inject myself with this thing and I'm not gonna have to worry about being attracted to you or anything like that. You're not gonna have influence over me as a woman that you are. It was just interesting how it's like just re-emphasized in the most subtle way. And with Basket Case, it wasn't subtle at all. This thing is crazy.
Beat you over the head with a sledgehammer on it.
Especially since that is something they used to do in insane asylums back in the day too.
Yes, and it was also in the film. It was a way for them to identify her not as this administrative kind of worker bee that they thought that she was for the Andromedan people, but actually as royalty. And so that was a way to kind of incorporate the queen royalty part of it, because Jesse Plemons, Teddy's character, completely pulls a 180 in a way where he's kind of treating her with more respect and more reverence and more like, oh, I didn't know that we had, royalty here.
Again, he surprises me again. Honestly, it's the director that surprised me where this shock thing didn't work. So I'm thinking, okay, now he realizes she's human.
There must be some way to prove that she is.
Right. Oh, that means you're royalty I'm like,
just keeps on going.
Still going with this thing.
And it was like each subsequent scene was just like, okay, what's gonna be the moment where he's like, okay, I'm so sorry for this. I was, what's gonna be the breaking point for Jesse Plemons? That aha moment or that realization that he's done wrong never comes. So the score of the film jumped between tones. Did that work for you? Did that not work for you? For me, it was kind of like 50-50, where I was fine with it in terms of calling your attention to this one part, but it was kind of applied to all different parts. And so it kind of felt repetitive after a while for me. But what about yourself?
I mean, for me, the best way to take it is kind of like a little distracting, honestly.
Okay.
Because normally what I'm used to is that if you're going to use commercial music that everyone knows, it's consistent. And with this film, it wasn't. With it coming in with the orchestral type of music, it distracted me. I was like, oh, this is not what I expected.
Yeah.
But it also helped me focus on just what's happening in the scene in a way that was like, okay, I understand the tone, what this is supposed to bring. But I feel like I got that anyway with the commercial songs. So I think that it goes back to what I received from the movie, which I'll mention later. And it kind of played a part in that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think for me also, the sheriff babysitter character was a little confusing to me because Jesse Plemons' character, Teddy, doesn't really have a lot of friends. He has a work friend, he has a couple people at work that he knows, but the sheriff babysitter character seemed to go further than that. He seemed to be very apologetic for something that happened in their past. Some sort of, mischief or, Odin forbid any sort of terrible thing to have happened. Kind of kids being kids, kind of
experimenting.
Could have been, yeah.
With him as the babysitter, being the one leading the way. So it kind of came off as if he still felt guilty about it.
Yeah.
Where he was trying to find something out about himself and use the kid to do it. And use Teddy.
What I wish they would have gone a little bit deeper with that. I wish there was some explanation, not this like mystery between the two characters, because so much of the film is left up to mystery in terms of kind of the overarching plot, and then there's this here comes this other character where there's another mystery attached to it. It just felt a little not redundant, but because it was an interpersonal character kind of relationship, but in a way that it was just unnecessary, and I wish it would have kind of been more fleshed out between the two.
I mean, I didn't really need that. For me, it kind of like, it gave me enough information to know like this guy isn't gonna go away easily. The fact that he was a sheriff now, he could be a problem. And the fact that Teddy was saying it's fine, the timing also didn't help Teddy. Like, he's going to work when this guy's coming across to him, or he's at the house and Michelle's already there.
Oh yeah, or she's been taken to the basement, right?
Yeah. So him saying it's fine, granted, there could be more to that, but at the same time, it's like he has such bigger things to worry about than what happened who knows how long ago.
Yeah.
So to me, it just kind of like gave you a little bit more of this unexpected thing, like just enough context to make that scene a little bit more interesting. Of like, what is this guy gonna say? What is he gonna say to him? Like, where is this going?
Well, yeah, and like I understand him as a narrative device to raise the stakes of the situation. Like, the last person you want involved in any of this is a sheriff that keeps bugging on your business.
Yeah.
But I've seen enough media to know what an organic version of that looks like and what an inorganic narrative thing looks like.
So does it look organic or inorganic?
It's a little cross of both. I do like that they have a pre-existing history with each other. It provides a little bit more of like context of like you were saying, like, this is why he will not leave. And then it feels inorganic because it happens in a way that is kind of forced to me. Like, he's coming to, not forced in a way of like crowbarred in, but just like the way that he's only there to raise the stakes.
Yes.
I would have liked there for him to, even before they kidnap Michelle, write it in such a way where he is a family friend, someone that like Teddy is interacting with beforehand, so it feels a little bit more like, okay, he's always been there. He's more friends with Dawn, let's say, like where's Dawn? Like, you can raise the stakes in different ways for that.
Right. I see where you're coming from now.
Yeah, like there's ways to do it to make it feel a little bit more organic for that. So
okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
There's a certain viewpoint that I think you can look at this film in and see it as a commentary on corporations and the C-suite executives and a lack of humanity, because the reason they target Michelle is Emma Stone's character is because they believe her to be an Andromedan, and there's a scene and a dialogue exchange between Teddy and Dawn where they call out specifically her lack of humanity. She's a shell. She's not human. And I think it plays a role in the film because at least that's what I got from the trailer, is this like the removal of the human element. So much damage being done. What other motivating factor could there be other than her being an alien or an agent against
I mean, it would be
world.
The perfect role for her to do that and get away with it, because CEO of a pharmaceutical company and being able to experiment on people, even with that conversation with her, her secretary about like telling people that they could leave at 5:30, but at the same time, if they got work to do,
right, we have to meet quotas.
Yeah, but like, at your own discretion, like that whole sense of like, I'm trying to be human, but like I'm trying to get something done.
Right, and that plays a part in the ending of the film as well. It also comes into what I've always thought is that like people at that level see their position as higher on the totem pole, the natural selection hierarchy, as like they're the winners, they're the survivors.
She does describe herself as that in the movie.
And that's what I was going to bring up, is that when she's on top of him, you know, defending herself, she calls out like, "You're a loser, I'm a winner," and that's just how it is. Like it's so definitive, and it really casts a shadow on. I mean, the whole situation is just so bizarre and effed up, but it casts a shadow on her character specifically, in that she really, even before this whole thing, she couldn't care less about the lives or situations of any of these people, not even a little bit. And with that, I think we'll transition into the what's the message, because the ending is, it's a doozy. So skip to this timestamp. I've got it. I'll worry about it in post, and then we'll go from there. Last chance, spoiler section. We're going to talk about the ending because it very much ties into the message of the movie. So just as a brief summary, turns out Emma Stone was an Andromedan. She was an alien. It turns into Dune for about 2 minutes.
Right, when she's in the ship, and I was like, oh my God.
And they have those noodle suits, like she's speaking a different language, she's talking to the Emperor, and you're just completely thrown off. I mean, I was even talking about this movie with my dad, and he was like, yeah, I can understand why that ending didn't really sit well with, because I was talking to him about it, and he was like, I can understand, but it worked for him. The ending worked for him. Okay. For me, it didn't really. It ran in opposition to a lot of what I was expecting, what the film was even saying, with the echo chamber stuff, with the conspiracy theories, with the research, what he was doing in that side room too. Everything was building to me an ending of like, she's gonna kill him, and her life will be significantly changed and altered going forward, maybe with like a little bit more humanity. That didn't.
Yeah, we were expecting her to be humbled at some point, but
I mean, she was humbled, but in a way that kind of just abandoned the whole journey.
She just eventually just gave him what he wanted. Of this, like, okay, fine, yes, I am.
Well, she says that a couple times. Like, she validates it, and then she invalidates it. So you're never really quite certain what even his belief is. And so his belief eventually leads him to a closet, and strapped with some bomb, blows him up to kingdom come. And I love the gore in this. In this movie too, like his head flies out and smacks her in the head. Like a head on a head is just hilarious.
And the fact that you saw like the mark on her head develop too, I was like, wow.
Yeah, but and then you were saying, I remember you had said that you wish she'd taken a day or so after, not directly after not during the ambulance ride, to go back to wherever she came from, whatever ship that was. Do you still believe that now, or have you kind of molded over since we last saw it? Like, what were your thoughts on the whole ending of Bugonia?
I think honestly, I go back on that because the timing was actually better, because it kept the pace of the film going by her going back immediately as soon as she woke up in the ambulance. So
okay.
Yeah, but from my take on the ending, it goes to what I saw the message being, like expecting unexpected. Like, don't make any assumptions that you think you know what's going on in someone else's head. You're getting a sliver of what they want you to see, and the rest is like pieces here that they miss based on body language, tone, or what they don't say. And it kind of helped remind me about what it means to be human at the same time. Like, there's only so much information that I know. It actually reminded me of that Viking quote that you like. Man knows little.
Man knows little, yes.
Yes.
It's on my water bottle right here.
Yes.
Man knows little.
Exactly.
You can't see it on the film, but it's there.
But yeah, it just made me feel in many ways humbled of me not I kind of like I just made me feel like Michelle don't expect to assume to know what's going to happen next all the time, especially with someone that I've never watched his films before.
That was probably the best part of it, is that you were kind of just going along with it, and so like for you, that unexpected quality did work better because you were kind of going more for the ride.
Yes.
Whereas like my writer ass brain was like, let me see where this could be going, and then it completely like it like pulls a 180, and then I'm just left kind of stupefied by the end of it.
It was after she came back from the ambulance and she went in the closet, and I was like, so this is real? Because like one thing is going back to be, okay, is he actually dead? Like, because her being knocked out, maybe she needed to see verification after these crazy like 4 days she was spent with this guy.
I mean, it was pretty confirmed when his head.
I mean, for the audience, yeah, we saw it happen. She just blacked out.
Yeah.
So when she went back, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, she's gonna see the blood. She's gonna be like, okay, I'm safe. But then she went in the closet
and took the calculator.
with her. I'm like, this is real. What? Hence why we started this whole thing with saying, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was not an ending that I could have foreseen. It threw me off a little bit more, but I enjoyed once it happened. There was that great sequence when they decide to leave Earth and kill every human on the planet to the song Where Have All the Flowers Gone?
Yeah.
Once that happened, once that triggered, I was cool with it. Like I enjoyed kind of settling into this new direction the film has gone. It was like the last 2 minutes of the film, and it worked in a way that I was fine with it, because I've seen other films, and I'm not going to spoil what the film is, but I've seen other films that have done that. Is it real? Is it not real? Very character focused things where it doesn't really matter if it's real. It matters what the characters have kind of experienced in the journey that they've gone through.
Yes.
It really doesn't matter. This, it very much did matter.
Yeah.
So that goes into what the message was for me. What I took away from this film, I had a building kind of like theme, kind of message to this, completely undone in those last 2 or 3 minutes. And so I'm left at the end of the film thinking that the only way the planet's going to survive is if we are not on it. So if we are completely removed from the equation.
We are the aliens.
Yeah, be it like bees, and all the animals will flourish and life will go on. We were the problem from the very beginning, and our violent tendencies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In many ways, that's very true.
It's very true.
So,
it's true, but
there are things being done to help fix that. So I have hope.
Yes. That's our What's the Message on Bugonia. What'd you think? Did you come away with a different message? Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. You guys know what that is. And we will see you for the next one. Recommendations. The polls are open. But yeah, that'll be it.